I am a registered dietitian and I have been in practice for over 20 years. I really was drawn to nutrition when I learned that most chronic diseases have nutrition as an important determining factor. And I just thought, why wait to treat disease when we can work on optimizing health and preventing disease through nutrition?
Dr. Pamela Fergusson is a registered dietitian who has been in the field for over 20 years. We had a wonderful conversation with her as she spoke about the essential components for maintaining a healthy diet. Let's see what else she has to say.
What are the general components of what a healthy diet looks like?
I would draw us to Canada's food guide. I think we can follow the food guide in terms of guiding our healthy choices. So looking at grains and like starchy carbohydrates, cereals, those including starchy vegetables as well. Fruits and veggies, so important and so much underconsumed. And the recommendation in Canada's food guide is that we get half our overall volume of food coming from fruits and veggies. So there's the like half your plate concept. So that's our second group, just full of antioxidants, phytonutrients, just so healthy and good for us. The next group would be our protein foods. Within there, we're encouraged to choose plant-based sources of protein more often because along with the protein, you're also getting fiber and you're not getting cholesterol and high amounts of saturated fat. When you're looking at your plate, try to think about including a source of protein, a source of starchy carbohydrate, high fiber where possible, a source of fruits and veggies, and then some kind of a fat as well.
Maybe we don't have should we be 100% vegan or not, but I think it sounds like there is a wide consensus on the majority of our diet should be plant-based, whether that has some animal products or no animal products.
I think that that's absolutely right. And you can't eat a high fiber diet, for example, that is not mostly plant-based because fiber only comes from plants. And we have so much evidence for the benefits of fiber in our diets. If we all just met our fiber requirements, so much of the diabetes, the heart disease that we see, hypertension, so many chronic diseases would be prevented or at least mitigated. When you meet your fiber requirement, when you do so by eating whole foods mostly, you are then automatically bound to just get all of these other nutrients as well. You're likely to have like a very healthy functioning gut.
What are some tools for people to figure out, like, what does balance look like for them? Is it that half their food can be unhealthy? Is it that a third, or as well, maybe it's something where they're starting in a place where it's pretty unhealthy and they want to start adding in healthy foods?
I love that idea of adding in, and I think that that's actually such a smart way to look at it. So rather than thinking about trying to remove things that are less healthy, try to think about adding in healthy options like, okay, let's just start with the goal of trying to get half your plate as fruits and veggies, and then making sure you have at least one serving of whole grains a day, and like moving towards those kinds of goals. And then I think naturally things will start falling into more balance. So trying 80% of the time to make those choices and up to 20% choosing like sort of more like comfort foods. I think 80-20 is a reasonable balance, but I think this starts to bring us towards the concept of like eating intuitively as well and starting to trust our own body and our own cravings. That concept of like going wild on Oreos comes from the idea of trying to totally restrict sugar. And when we try to totally restrict something, it's like a balloon that we're trying to crunch down, like eventually it explodes, right? Naturally trusting your body that after having 2 or 3 Oreos or something, you're going to feel like, okay, like I've had enough Oreos now.
And I appreciate that articulation because I think like that is getting to the point to say there's probably very few foods that you should really never have, like if it's your favorite food.
We know a lot about nutrition. We were in the kitchen when our parents, our grandparents were cooking. We cook for ourselves. We know, we understand what works for us in our own bodies. And so we are experts already in the field of nutrition. And I think that is actually valid. We are experts, actually, we do know.
So what role does the food industry have in kind of contributing to advertising and our knowledge of like what's healthy and not healthy?
Well, unfortunately, I think, especially historically in Canada, the food industry and the food lobby, the agricultural lobby, I think has been way too powerful. And they absolutely have had a seat at the table in previous incarnations of our food guide before this most recent 2019 version, which was solely based on research evidence. So that's why I think we should feel really proud of our guide, actually, and proud of our Canadian government for making that change.
So how did you first get involved in the plant-based nutrition certificate program?
I've been involved, I think, since the inception. I think I was actually the first instructor to be brought on board. I helped to create the introduction, the foundation course in the program, and I've been instructing it since the inception of the certificate program. And I also teach the plant-based nutrition through the lifespan course as well. We've had just such a wide range of people who are working, say, in like the fitness industry, to parents who are raising plant-based kids and want some more information, to we've had doctors and nurses, we've had dietitians. So never think that, oh, I don't have the right background for this or something. That's not the case. If you've ever eaten a meal in your life, you have experience to bring, especially if you're a person who has tried to go plant-based or has gone plant-based, whether you have been vegan for 20 years or you're just trying to be more plant-based now. There is space and a place in this course for you. And all of those perspectives are so necessary and so important.